Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Depends on your time and your location. This is Free Biafra TV, the citizen of United States of Biafra. So I welcome you at this moment. And as I welcome you at this moment, please, I urge you to endeavor to welcome another person. So I greet you. Welcome to this hallowed platform. As we are going to do it together to march, so may that we send the message of hope, message of redemption, message that gives everyone hope that Nigeria is a failed state. The message that is pure message from the heart of international laws, those that are given the recognition for a new country to have fully rights in all, in all. That is why we're here this morning. But it is very imperative that our people do understand that in this 21st century, that there is a law how we as the Biafran people can easily, or how we can achieve our country without getting involved in arrest or tagging us terrorists, treason, rebel, and all of them. There is many ways we can do that. Because in this 21st century, when things are changing, human being also has to change. It's not only changing new cars, it's not only changing new phone, it's not only building new houses, it's not only changing new having new music, it's not only changing a lot of things. Everything is changing at the same time. At any one century, something must be changed. When the world look at the one they are doing that is not helping, that is not working, what happens? The odds are to be changing in a better way. And believe you me, all this they are changing is in our own betterment, is in our own favor, not in their own favor. That is why it is very, very imperative that we pay attention to the changes of the world that are changing in our own favor. If in this 21st century you have iPhone 17 Pro Max and the people are happily trying to buy that iPhone 17 Pro Max, no matter how costly it is, no matter how costly that phone it is, no matter how costly some cars it is, and people today are trying and doing everything humanly possible for them to have that car. What of we that are fighting for a new country? What of we that are hustling for a new country? That is why it is very imperative at this stage that we as the Biafran people understand what we are doing and how this can help us to move forward. How this can help us to move forward. That is why at this stage that we are into, we need to know those things that the world wants us to do that is going to help us to achieve our own country, not any other person's country. That is why it is very, very imperative at this stage that we listen to the world, because the world has something they have to offer us. Honestly, what they will offer us is what will make us to become a full country that we are seeking for. That is a very, very imperative at this stage that we are into. That is why it's good to urge every Biafran to join this moving trend for us to do what? For us to achieve our own country. because without achieving this country, all that we are doing is in vain. There is nothing that we are going to achieve until we, as the Biafran people, abide by the law of the world. Their law is what they want us to use, and their law is what is giving what recognition to the world as the main thing that we, as the Biafran people, are looking for. There is no other thing that we are looking for except what? Except having our own country. There is no any other thing. So it is very, very imperative at this stage that the Biafran people listen to the word and obey all the instructions being given by those that are giving international recognition. How do you think you can achieve Biafra? How do you think that we can achieve Biafra? We can only achieve Biafra through their guidelines. That is how we are going to achieve Biafra. We are not going to achieve Biafra because of what we think and how we see it. What we think and how we see is not giving Biafra. What we think and how we see it is not giving Biafra. What is giving Biafra is on document. What is giving Biafra is on written note. What is giving Biafra is the law that has been there before us. There is a criteria that we must follow. And the most very important part of it is that in this 21st century, that these laws that are being given to us is something that are in our own favor. Before we go more, I see Mom Ngozi, good morning from here. I see Chris, Biafra's son. I salute you. Thank you so much. That is our code. I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. The United States of Nation, USB, Biafra. Thank you so much. This is our code in this place. So wherever you come, we urge you to use this particular code on this platform. Why do we have to use it before we continue? We have to use it because of the words make it to us to the word make it clearly for us to know that there is something they call internal sovereign recognition. The one that we as Biafran people has to recognize ourselves as a country on our own before others can come to recognize us. So whenever you come to my comment section, please, I ask you on this our comment section to use that word. I am a citizen of United States of what? Biafra Nation. It is very nice. So the word we know. So when somebody comes on this platform without asking me where am I from, so that person will see where I'm from your comment without asking any question. And the word will call it what? Internal sovereignty recognition. So everything will start from us first. Everything will start from us. The word are not going to come because of we have lobby, because of all this shenanigans you are seeing from Ogenkere, and they automatically said, okay, oh, you are Biafra. No. Nobody gives you Biafra. You give yourself Biafra. You recognize Biafra like we have given ourselves Biafra by standing up and making that our declaration. That is how we stand up. That is how we have given ourselves Biafra. Now we have given ourselves Biafra. What else remains? The one that they call external. And this external work together with remedial succession. The external works together with remedial succession. So all these are very important at this stage that we are into. Honestly, nobody will do it for us. For this particular internal sovereignty recognition, it's in our hand. It is in our hand. That is why we must do that. So as we move forward, it is very understandable. And because of the area we are coming from, because of the damage that British used Nigeria to done to many of us, that is why the world are rising back forward. We are rising backward. I repeat my word. Because of the damage that Nigeria, that Britain used Nigeria to damage many of us. That is why the world are moving forward and we are moving backward. And that is the mentality they give African people, because they don't want us to move like them. They want us to be backward. That is why in African, if you see African country to compare Europe countries, you will see difference. That we are backward, why we are forward. And in that our backward, in that our primitive backward life, we will be claiming we know it all. In that our awkward, primitive life, we will be the one claiming that we know it all. Why we know nothing? Why those that are moving forward are moving forward? Look at it in example today. Go to church in Nigeria. What they teach us is how to pray. Why people in China and other countries their children are making computers, building a lot of things, and our own is to pray. Amigos, thank you so much. That is who we are. Hashtag, I am a citizen of the United States of Nations. That is who we are. That is our country. That is how self-internal recognition starts first. That is what we are doing right now. So thank you for that. So our own primitive, naive, ignorance is what is destroying many of us in this Biafra movement. The same thing that is deceiving us and what people are claiming, they know. Look at someone like Chidi. I saw a video where he's crying about Nigeria, that children leave their parents' house, went to occasion, eating from a plate of food that those that came to occasion has eaten and gone. On a place to watch all those dishes, the children gathered there, they are dragging the food. Imagine such a life. And this is what Simon he hated so much and Mazan is fighting for. For such a thing of Babi Allah do not happen in our own territory. And this is happening. More of you seen that Enugu State. The life in Enugu State and Calabar was I think these are the areas that people are things are very more than hard. Honestly. So, when you see them thinking they know it all, and in the world will use them, Nigeria will use them against their own who come to save their life. That is negativity. That is primitive. That is ignorance of the law. That is claiming you know when you know nothing. It is in our own territory. You see all those things in our own people. And that is why we remain where we are today. That is why we're not moving forward. That is why there is no headway. But we, as the Biafran people, have decided to join millions of countries in the world to move forward. We have agreed to join them to do what? Moving forward, not moving backward. We also proving to them that we have changed our negativity of thinking, that we have changed our reasoning, that we are no longer claiming being ignorant and claiming we know it all. And we are no longer pretending as if we know when we know nothing. That is why USB has adopted all the United Nations charters and articles for us to achieve Biafra as a country. Remember, we are not going to achieve it with gun and bullets in this 21st century. The world has prohibited, that is our headline. Under the international law of UN, EU, and the AU, they prohibit anyone in this 21st century. Type on your phone, what is 21st century first? 21st century is from 2001 to 2100 that we are into is 21st century. And they say that they have prohibited anybody to use armed struggle, to use force on a country like Nigeria. After our declaration, after our real declaration, their law has started working on us. that that they prohibit if we try to use force, military force, liberation force, guerrilla warfare force to attack Nigeria. That they are not going to give us any recognition, and that they are going to allow or join Nigeria to destroy us. Remember, that is exactly what happened in 1967 to 1970. I say remember. What happened again was what? What happened in 1967 to 1970? The world joined Nigeria to destroy Biafran people because Ojukwu took into armed struggle. And those that are leading us right now, Masan and Simon Banjoko, to the Ngozi Arabez, understand it. That's what Obi made it open in one of his brokers. He said that after our real declaration, that if you are expecting him to throw one shot to Nigeria, that you are wasting your time. That we are going to use diplomatic, that we are going to use legal, we are going to use political pressure, we are going to use media pressure and truth to destroy Nigeria. Destroying Nigeria is not for mouth, to be honest with you. And in this 21st century, showcasing prideful social media, showcasing how many group you have, showing the kind of arm you have, is no longer needed. The world said that if we as the USB, the United States of Belarus, are asking for recognition, that if you try it, that they are going to abandon us. They are going to allow us to suffer like people of Somaliland, people of Kosovo, people of Northern Cyprus. These are three prominent countries that are suffering today because of their past. And their past intrude into 2001. That is why the world is abandoning them. They say that Israel show pity, mercy on this Somaliland based on a reason that makes Israel to show this mercy or pity to them. Remember, it's only Israel that is a UN member that has recognized Somaliland as a country. Since then, have you had any other thing? Do you know that Somaliland waited for 34 good years? They waited for 34 good years in general of everything, 3 years of their struggle, and they make declaration. Imagine 3 years in protest and struggle, they declare Somaliland as a country from Somalia. After the declaration, they drop armed struggle. They waited for peaceful 30 years. Peaceful 30 years before they can achieve recognition. Before they can achieve what? Recognition. That is what they waited for. And you think in our own time that a miracle will fall from heaven again. Manners are no longer falling from heaven. This issue of what Gentle Butozo is doing, the world did not accept it anymore. The world have given us criteria for you to become a nation. That in number one of it, that we accept that we are Biafrans, that we are from United States of Biafra, as my code on this platform. These are very imperative at this stage that we are into. After struggle of Somaliland for 3 years, they knock Woto. After knocking Woto, once they make the declaration, they started drop arm struggle, go into peaceful exit from totally outright from Somalia. And they waited for how many years? For 30 years before they can be able to grab international recognition. And on this recognition of a thing, people like Czechoslovakia, people like Czech Republic in the history, as we are going to give the exact history of those countries, they did not control 1% of their territory, but they achieved recognition. But today, look at those. Somaliland controlling their own for 30 years. No international recognition because Somaliland did not declare their country in exile. When a government in exile declares country in exile, the world, the UN, and all the articles said that you are going to walk through paper, diplomatic, legal, petition, political pressure, media pressure for you to achieve your recognition. We also give us an example of those that they control their territory, but not recognition. They also give us of those that they do not control 1% of their territory, but UN recognize them, and from there, the country that they are fighting to exit, pack their load, and leave them. It's in the two ways. The option is for us to choose. If we are knocking Woto Nigeria, the world will abandon us. The knocking Woto will delay our recognition. The knocking Woto will delay our recognition. And the world might do us what they did to the country. I'm going to read it out. You will hear it. The world might decide to let us to do us what we not expected. And everything that we are doing, that is why history must repeat. Our negativity, our behavior, our reasoning, that is, the world are moving forward and we are moving backward. The world is moving forward. We within the COG, we as black people, we are moving what? Backward. When those that are giving us recognition, when those that are creating the laws are telling us what they want us to do and how we can achieve it, somebody will be on comment section commenting what he don't know, what he cannot research and find out by himself. Please, this is 22 minutes of this program. I urge you to like the program and share the program. Let it go viral because we must educate ourselves. We must know the histories of countries in the world. Because the most good side of it is that the world said on this 21st century, everything has changed. The only thing that is not changing in a black man is how we reason. The only thing that is not changing in a black man is how we reason. The world has introduced you iPhone 17 Pro Max. Every year, new changing of things. The world has changed Mercedes on the level we know is Mercedes 230 to another level. They have changed Venza in another level. Changed many cars. Where is end of this discussion today? Where is end of discussion today? Is it still running? What is those cars that when they come, there was everywhere? Where are they today? You can see that the world has changed them. The world has updated. So our people are not upgrading. So those things, if you want to know how we can recognize when Nigeria is full in our country, go back to my previous videos. I have done that in the past, so I won't go back today, and they can't change my program today. Rather, I will block you. If you come to my page, listen to me. If you come here, listen to what I am doing. If what I am doing is not enough for you, stay aside from the, I'll go away from the platform. So, the people of USB, the citizens of the United States of Biafra, that we, the UN article said that we are going to do what first, do what? Internal sovereignty recognition. We have to recognize ourselves as people of Biafra first before the world will come. Because you have a name that somebody, that you are the one who give that person your name to use that name to recognize you. This is the same thing in our own case and into what we are doing today. See, in the quest of Biafra recognition, we are not the first people in the world that have used exile government to declare a country and remain in exile. We are not the first. We're not going to be the last. That is why I'm telling you that our reasoning, the world are moving forward. Even as they're moving forward, they are giving us how we can move forward with them. They will write it on a document, they will hide, because they said that if you want to deceive a black man, put it on a reading document, keep it somewhere. He doesn't have time to read and research. Countries like Namibia was in exile. They was recognized. Namibia fought against South Africa. Their country today, they was recognized when they was even in exile. Eritrea from Ethiopia fought for their independence. From exile, they was organized, even though when South Africa was occupying the territory, the capital, the territory of Namibia. If you want to know how Biafra will recognize that Nigeria is fully in our territory, go and check the history, how Namibia was organized. Go and check the history, how America fought, how America moved away Great Britain, and before the South America today. As they have, after their declaration, go and check the history of them. Then from there, you will not ask yourself, you will not ask that question there. How can Biafra organize despite Nigeria taking control of the territory? Go there and find out by yourself. The world writes the road for Biafra recognition has written down. It's in a document. It's an inside document. It's a matter of us taking time to research and bring it out. And when you come here, I'm narrating it, you start asking me some questions. And you cannot pay attention. If you are running speed, you go and open your own YouTube and run speed there and ask those questions, answer it by yourself. So, my people, the movement that we are into requires that we, as the Biafran people, must first recognize ourselves. That the recognition starts from me and from you. So if you are not recognizing yourself as a citizen of United States of Biafra, you are doing yourself more harm than good. And the question could be, are we only the one in the entire world are going through this process that their territory was being occupied by Nigeria? Or are we only the one in this world that have, in the way we are moving, that have moved through that way? We will find out today if many countries both in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, has gone this process that we are undergoing today. Then we will find out whether we are on the right track or on the wrong track. If we will find out if we are doing the right thing that we're supposed to do. My people, I greet everybody in the comment section. I greet Johnson, you're welcome. I greet Divine, you're welcome. I greet Shuka Oma, despite your comments, I greet you. Abarosia, I greet you. Thanks so much for coming. I greet those that are on this comment section. I salute all of you. Thank you so much as we move. So, on this part of that we are moving in is how other countries, like people of because people may think that we are only the one who are passing through this way. We are going through that way. That Ethiopia, that was in London, declared Ethiopia in 1963 to 1941. The history of Ethiopia is what USB is repeating. We are also repeating the history of Algeria, who went in exile in Tunisia and Egypt, and they are there until they achieve recognition, and those that occupied their land they flee away from them. Because the UN recognition is amen and amen. You see, a member of the UN recognition or UN on his own recognizing you is amen and amen in a movement of a new country. We are repeating the history of Guinea-Bissau, 1973 to 1974. That is the history that we are repeating. We are repeating the history of Madagascar. That is the history we are repeating. We are repeating the history of Namibia and Zambia and Eritrea. These are the history that USB is repeating today. These are the ones in Africa. Then go and check how they survived and how they become a country. So that is why at this stage, it is very, very imperative that we pay attention, that we accepted the guideline, that we follow on the road, that's the existing road. There is existing road in this world. From wherever you are coming, from your house, if you want to join express, you will join express on the law that guides that express. Then you join express if you are coming from, if you are going. If others are going on the left hand, you join them. If those that are going, if those are coming back is on the right side, you join them. This is how what we are doing this time around. What our DPM and the USB government is doing is to follow that existing road that has been there before us. That is why I usually use this word. We are not the first to go to this road. Neither are we going to be the last to pass through this road. So standing on existing protocol, standing on existing law, standing on existing instruction, that is what we are doing. That is what the people of Biafra is doing at this stage that we are into. So when you see anybody who is making mockery of himself or herself, never mind them. I know you now. I know who you are. Cecilia. I know you. So you are the one. Continue changing your name. Anyhow you change, we know you once you come. We know your comments. And what I do is that that first name you used to come on my page is what my page will bring out once you appear. So it doesn't matter how you say to Oluchukwu Okechukwu, to Oluchi Okechukwu. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I know who you are. So, in this moment that we are into, there is existing law, there is existing protocol, and there is those who have passed this road that we are on this our journey. There is those from this journey that we are into. They have, from this journey, reached to their destination. So we are flowing that's the road and that's law they have used in the past. This is the road that we are following. We want to follow that airline that people of Ethiopia used when they traveled to London, precisely 1963 to 1941. How many years? We enter that plane. We have traveled with that plane to Finland, and when they are coming back, they come back with what? They come back with Ethiopia as a country today. Inside that Ethiopia, Eritrea exits from Ethiopia. Do you see how it works? Eritrea exits from Ethiopia. So we are flowing this road, and we are not going to be the last. that we travel to this road, our destination. When we finish, another people will be there and be moving in that way. We are repeating that history of Algeria, 1962 to 1958, Algeria. That is the road that we are repeating. I said what? That is the road that we are repeating. The road that we are repeating is that road that the world are giving instruction on how to move away from the so-called Nigeria and what we have to do on our own this time around. So nobody will stop us. And no matter how people think, they can never stop this movement, because we are only trying to maintain existing protocol, which we will not jump at all. So at this stage that we are into, everything that we are doing, we must follow on the guideline of the international community. They give us what? Guideline. In that guideline is what we, as the Biafran people, are following. Yes, Chrissy Biafran song. We don't have time this morning to address inconsequentials. Those lies and the deceit have done the needful without wasting time. So, what are these things that our people refuse to pay attention to? Why our people are not doing what they're supposed to do? Rather, they are making mockery of themselves in comment section everywhere. As the Biafran people, as you and I, who believe in USB, we are repeating histories of other countries. We have stand on the existing protocol of the world. Why do we stand there? We stand there for us to achieve our own country. Why do we stand there? We stand there for us to receive recognition. Why do we have been going to maintain all this protocol? Because when they are introducing these laws, they never knew that Biafra will come. They never knew that what? That Biafra will come as a country. That is why, as we are paying attention to all these laws in our own time, that is how we are going to achieve it like the way others have achieved it. Any child that went to school must follow the existing history of those that passed out from that school, so he can also pass out from the school. If you take first today in a class, you are repeating a history. If you take first in a class, you are doing what? You are repeating the history of those who has been there before you. That is why everything that we are doing, what's doing at this stage. That is why the Biafran people, we must adhere to the instruction of the international community, because we want to become a member of the international community. Is it not true? So, when you see all the actions and when you see everything that we are doing, believe you me, the United States of Biafra governments are doing 100% well for us to go home, for us to achieve our recognition. They are doing it perfectly 100%. Because in all that they are doing is for us to go home. And they are only eligible government that can take us home. Because of what? They stand on the existing protocol of the world. They stand on how the world wants us to achieve Biafra peacefully in this 21st century. 21st century, the world they don't want to hear anything about military force. They don't want us to use force on Nigeria. They don't want us to be throwing bullets here and there in Nigeria. They want us to abandon that. That is why they said, you know, when they said that this thing is being prohibited, it is abomination in our own world. The world will see anybody who is using armed struggle as someone who is committing a very big offense, a very big crime. That is how they see us. So, do you want us to? And they say that if they continue using it, that they are going to arrest those military and arrest the leaders, put them in prison. So, what you want is for us to go against the world, so they can be able to continue arresting those that will lead us. And why you cannot come to lead? Why only place you can come to comment section? You that is criticizing, you want our DPM to also to be arrested, but all of you came late. Unu bịara late nke ikpeazụ anyị na through that late unu si otu a wee kụọ aka na tipa bụ akpa aja ọ na-anyị unu. And I know that all the enemies of USB are crying because of the achievement of the USB in the world. Ude USB na-ede ebe niile. That is why we are urging all them, in the homeland, to remain peaceful and calm, to defend yourself whenever Nigeria government troops in our own territory. Because the 40 states of the USB has been registered officially to the world. So if Nigeria trooping in our territory, the military has to do with them. But for you to be coming out to showcasing arms and dancing and threatening and use some words must be stopped. The rule of engagement. You must apply discipline. That is why you must go through training. Have you seen those that have master's degree? They still went back to school to do something. Why? Because they want to undergo the training fully. So the same thing with you who claim you are General Brigadier. The same thing with you who never step outside of bush, only be inside bush. And when they want to organize you to make you to look like a responsible man, you refuse. You want to continue on the path of negativity, on the path of proving that you are nobody, on the path proving that you cannot learn. Yes, Christy Biafra, thank you so much. I see all your comments. We'll come back to it later. So, when how do they say that word? When they are broughting you up, you are broughting yourself down. Butozo and Gento never knew that declaration of members of Congress of Rabeze is to brought them up. But they decided to brought themselves down. Anybody who is against the declaration of the USB is broughting himself down. He is on a mission, unaccomplished. But USB is a done deal mission. They call that declaration what? That is, they call it first. The first done deal. You know, when you sign a contract, there is step-to-step done deal. So we are just like people like in football. We are waiting to go to lab to prove that we are 100% right. Well, what is that, our lab? Our lab is on this, our medical on this time, sorry, like the players, they wait for medical. After you have passed your medical, the deal is done. And once the club being paid some money, you will see a done deal. That is first step. Then the last step of this done deal is passing medical. The deal is done. So we have done the first deal by our declaration, and we also giving ourselves internal sovereignty recognition. This is how we have approached to the first done deal. Now the second done deal is recognition that we are seeking for. That is what the second done deal, and it must come. Remember, sometimes you'll be waiting for a player to come to medical. So the people will lose hope that the club are no longer in charge. That the club is no longer a done deal until the player passes his what medical. It becomes official what done deal. So we are waiting for this official done deal through recognition. And when they tell us what to lead us to recognition, why are you against it? Those that are asking how Biafra will be a country, now Nigeria is under our threat. Are you the one that are giving this recognition? Are you the one that map out the laws of a new country? Are you the one that introduce how a new country is going to get their freedom? Are you the one? So once you are not the one, shut up your mouth and pay attention and listen. Because you are not the one. You are not the one that laid down the rules of having a new country. You are not the one that put all these things in line. So now that you are not the one, why are you arguing? Why can't you just make research and find out? Why can't you ask a question? Ask, how did the people of Ethiopia achieve their country with government in exile 1963 to 1941? Why can't you ask, instead of you to come here and be making mockery of yourself in the comment section? It is very important at this stage that we all pay attention to what the world wants us to do, not what I want to do. And not how I want it, because I'm not the one that introduced the law for having a new country and how it can go to the option of recognition. Please, if you're not joining us, please click the like button, share the program as it remains small for us to enter into our documents the way we normally do it here, to let the world know that the people of Biafra are on that track. And it left for us to let the world also know. That is what they call what they call media pressure. We let the world to understand that we abide by all these rules, all this existing protocol, all this extra protocol of the world. That we are the one to prove it to them. So that is why we must continue to push until they answer us. Until they do what? Until they answer us on what we are doing. What we are doing is to make sure that we, as the Biafran people, adhere to the instruction, both citizens and military. If any military is showcasing rifle in social media, whatever that happens to you, you're on your own. The US government has proved to you that we will have our men, our military, to defend our territory, not to come out on air to showcase and talk. Because you are not a soldier of air, but you're a soldier to control the ground. Those that are supposed to be on social media have to do that. Only thing you have to say will come from the government. And the white government are the one managing you, because every military is under government. Government is not under military. Government is not under military. Rather, the military and citizens are under the government. So, whether you like it or not, these are pure truths. And that is what the world are looking for. When you think that you and your shenanigan can do anything, the world also start looking at you as one of the rebels, as one of the terrorists they will use to charge you, as one of the inconsequential, and also as a disobedient military. That is why you must adhere to the instruction. And I am very happy that the USB military are keeping this law and maintaining it cool for the world to see how responsible and how prepared we are in this 21st century. They are also proving to the world that we observe, that we understand there is a new law from 2001. And this new law might end in 2100, which is they call it 21st centuries. In this 21st century, everything is not about force. Everything is not about gragra. Everything is not about showcasing arm and military in social media. It is about diplomatic, legal, political pressure, and the what? Media pressure. It is about population, defined territory, effective government, capacity to sign agreement. These are 8 criteria that leads to recognition. That this the first 4 of Montevideo Convention was to prove that you are a nation by yourself through your population of citizens. These are the areas that people refuse to seek, pay attention to. Rather, they want to see, hey, you never control your land now, and you claim that you are this, you are that. You are not the one that introduced the law of having a new country. It's only them that introduced that law can change it, and it's on them know how they are doing it. So let no one be deceived, because the people of Biafra have stand strong and walk away from Nigeria, whether you like it or not. It's a journey that has to start with one step, and we have moved away from what you think, and that thing you are thinking cannot even help you, talk less of any other person. We must continue to let the world understand the importance of what we are doing. That is why we are here, to let the world know. So on this junction, my people, we are going to go into the real document that we have here, for you to know how we can achieve recognition and what the military must be done at this stage. What Gentle, Butos, and all of that has to do. They cannot continue running away from this bitter truth. Running away from this bitter truth is going to do them more harm than good. Refusing to accept international to control the movement is going to do them more harm than good. That is why we are calling on all of them to change their movement, understand the importance of declaration, and why this declaration is only hope for them. The declaration of USB is only everlasting hope. But I wonder why all of you are kicking it out. Because of what? Because you think, and that what you think can help us achieve Biafra. Like I said no to that. That what you think cannot achieve Biafra for us. What will achieve Biafra for us is what? What they have put on a written note, and they have left it there for us. So it is very important. A friend from UK, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you. We continue. So on this junction, we want to look at what has happened in the past, why the world has prohibited using force against Nigeria, and the danger of we Biafran people knocking woto in this 21st century era. Let us listen, because you know that is how we do it here every day once we are alive. The world did not value recognition, did not value knocking woto. Knocking woto is no longer a criteria for you to get a new country. I want to start for refreshing your mind on yesterday's program and also bring you into the new one. Thank you so much for listening.
That is a precise and accurate summary of the Stimson doctrine and its evolution into law.
Please, the voice, is it coming out? The audio voice is coming out? Can someone confirm from me if the audio voice is coming out, please? I want to know. The audio voice, is it coming out? I need a help to know if the audio I am playing is coming out loud and clear. Please, my people. Who will help me to achieve this? I want to know if this audio I just played now is coming out clearly. Okay. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you. All right. Listen to what the world wants us to do, and which is what USB is doing. Which is what USB is doing. And by doing that, this is what will give us recognition. They said it openly from the UN. UN controls the world, no matter what comes. And if you're not a member of the UN, you are crying. Let's continue.
An international law. You've hit on the central tension between de facto control, power on the ground, and de jure recognition, legal legitimacy.
Remember this word here. Power on the ground and de jure recognition. De facto control is not legal, but the de jure recognition is what? Legitimacy, which is what USB is doing, which is what USB, the legal side of it, that leads to this international recognition is what we are doing. Let's continue.
For a nascent state like the United States of Biafra, USB, which was declared by the BRGIE in late 2024, navigating these legal frameworks.
Again, for you that is claiming BRIG, you had it here. In BRIG is where we stand to declare USB. That is transition. That is passing class 1 and enter class 2. The world knows the truth. People of Namibia, they use SWAPO to declare Namibia as a country. People of Angola, people of Namibia, they use Namibia. Finally, 1990, they use organization called SWAPO. They call it what? Southwest Africa People's Organization. That is what they use to declare Namibia as a country. Like we using the name Bridge to declare USB as a country. This is how other countries are doing it. And the question you must ask yourself, after Namibia using SWAPO, Southwest Africa People's Organization, did they fall back and continue answering Africa, Southwest Africa People's Organization? The answer is no. On their own, they make it open in their history that from that day they declared their independence, that they stopped using SWAPO. They use Namibia Republic to achieve recognition through UN. And you want us to fall back to Bridge. When you come outside, you spell it BRIG, BRGIE. Isigaza. Your head will rise up. That place is like, let me give you another example. It's like someone who is in final year. That is our final year of struggle. That is our final year of protest. In the name of struggle. That is the year we graduated. You know how it is when a child or a son is graduating from university for the final year, or even from primary 6 to go to JS1. This is our level. This is how this thing works. So we have graduated from this so-called Bridge, which is our final exam in the level of means of struggle, for us to become a state in waiting. Now, we are like those children that graduated from school, we are looking for a job. What is the job we are looking for? Our document of graduation is what? Recognition. That is our own job that we are seeking for. Now, can this child go back and still claiming that he never graduated from final year? You have two graduations in life or in a movement. One, you will graduate from school, start seeking for a job. When you finally grab the job, that is your final graduation, proving that I went to school, or proving that you went to school. So when you look at those people that are making noise on social media, do not mind them at all. Lack of black black race mentality is what is disturbing he or she. I said what? Black, that's Mazda Kanu said, black man brain, black man sense is a problem. That is what is controlling those who claim fall back and fall bridge. We are no longer in that era. We have graduated. We must continue. Let me please, I see you. Thanks so much. Now, it is very obviously on the internet or everywhere that we are on bridge in late 2024 to declare what? United States of what? Biafra, which is I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. I am not a citizen of bridge. I don't know in the comment section here, is there any of you who is a citizen of a bridge? BRGIE. Any of us? The answer is no. We are the citizen of that online country. They said we are online country. Yes. Namibia started from online. Ethiopia started from online. Angola online. Algeria online. Guinea-Bissau online. Madagascar online. Mozambique online. Zambia online. Eritrea online in Africa. South Africa apartheid regime online. That is how it happens. So I must be proud of who I am. So far, the government is on the right track. Under the laws, under all the existing protocol of charters and treaties that are controlling the entire world. So, my people, we are doing the good thing that the world, the good work, or how the world wants us to program our movement so we can be able to get recognition. Please, if you never like the program, I urge you to like and share the program, please. Touch the like button. Touch that like button, please. I beg you to do it. Because why? We want this message to always go viral to those that are proving that their brain is not working.
Is the difference between being a sovereign member of the global community or remaining an unrecognized entity. The legal framework of non-recognition, the principle that might does not make right, is codified across several pillars of international law. The UN Charter, Article 2, Paragraph 4. This is the gold standard. It prohibits the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state.
Remember here is the main deal of this my headline today. Again, the UN Charter Article 2, Paragraph 4, which is Nigeria is a member of the UN. UN respects their territorial integrity, which is pure truth. No two ways about that. And as their friend, as their member, they said this is the gold standard that they prohibit us, people of Biafra, they prohibit USB government to give order to military of Biafra to go and knock Woto on Nigeria. The UN that is going to organize us, the UN that are controlling the world, they said that they have prohibition, abomination, abolish, that they have abolished anybody to use armed struggle to chase Nigeria away. That's going through that. They see it what as a threat of the peace of the members of the UN. One. Number two, they said that through this political independence of any state, that Nigeria is a political independent state that's a member of the UN. That is, they don't want us to use what? Woto against Nigeria anymore. That they have abolished it after the Second World War. But it manifested 2001 precisely, that they have abolished all this. And the Obato Obi incite this when he told us that after our declaration, that if you're expecting him to throw one bullet on Nigeria, that you are wasting your time. Is you know what Obato Obi said? And this Okokos cannot, because it does not benefit a way they want to use to make money. Like Chika Merike, who want to make money. That word of Mass Simon by our PM does not, she cannot benefit anything. Because she is not only social media, but she's trying to use the name of those he claims is men on ground to steal from our people, and that is only how he's getting money. So he doesn't want the business that is giving him on to being spoiled. That is why they're continuously deceiving themselves and making mockery of themselves in social media. The UN Charter, Article 2, Paragraph 4, this is the gold standard. It prohibits the threat of using force against the territorial integrity of a political independence of any state. Now, what they want us to do, let's listen.
The Deo Convention, Article 11. As you noted, this explicitly states that territory shall not be recognized which has been occupied through the exercise of force.
That's USB. Look, let me go this way. The Montevideo Convention, Article 11, as you noted, the states that territory shall not be organized which has been occupied through the exercising of force. That if we as the Biafran people exercising force on Nigeria, that they are not going to organize us. I want us to be plain here. Between stop knocking Woto and get recognition from the UN and knock Woto, there is no recognition from the UN. Which one do you want? For me, I want without Woto, then be a member of the UN. Do you want Woto? No recognition. Or do you want no Woto recognition? Tell me in the comment section the one you want in the comment section. Among these two, choose one. Among these two, choose one. And let me give you an example of it. Northern Cyprus knocked to Turkey. Till today, 40 years, no recognition. Kosovo knocked their own. No recognition. Somaliland waited for 30 years because of the Woto knock in the past before they can achieve it. So now I ask you, do you want Woto, no recognition, or you want no Woto recognition? Which one do you want? Choose on the comment section. I want someone to answer. Let us know the one we want. Because the government of the USB has chosen the path of no Woto that leads to legal recognition. Thank you so much. Yes, me, I want no Woto. But let us achieve recognition. That is what I want. And that is the path that USB has chosen so far so good. That is why we must give them a round of applause, because of choosing wisely the better option, the safer side of all the Biafrans, and including them in the affairs of Biafra movement at this stage as a country. There is a laws. Now we have talked about UN Charter, Article 2, Paragraph 4, in brackets. Now we have come to Montevideo Convention, Article 11. These are the protocol. These are the existing law. These are the criteria. These are the templates that we are going to use to achieve our international recognition. These are the ways. And you want us to live this way, to go and continue knocking water with my people. Who is deceiving who? Are we not the one killing ourselves? Are we not the one delaying ourselves? Why is it good on your own side that you think that knocking water is the only option? And the world is telling you that this issue of knocking water is not the option at all. And the people continuously thinking that otherwisely. Sorry, my people, we move. So, on this stage that we are into right now, look at the best way. And do you know the most benefit part of this way that the government choose? That none of our leaders will be arrested, even including you. When you travel to anywhere, nobody will arrest you. Now that we have option that nobody will arrest us, is it not better that we adhere to this option that nobody will arrest us as people of Biafra anymore? Or do you want that one that leads to arrest? Ask yourself. Obata Obia was arrested because of what? Part of knocking water. Ma Simon Eba, on the case they charge him, is the same thing. So how do you want us to continue doing in that way that lead us in crying, pains, and agony all the time? Instead of us to moving on this easy way that UN has given to us. And as they change this new law, it is in our own favor. So now that the law is in our own favor, why can't we choose it? That is why I told you at all time that we must give US government enough applause for doing a very good job. Ogonaya, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I see you. We must continue.
The Stimson Doctrine. This was the historical precursor, 1932, that established the policy of not recognizing international territorial changes that were executed by force.
Are you hearing it? This law was adopted from 1932. 19 what? 1932. Before I was even being born. 1932 that this law was adopted. And the world kept it mute. Until what? Until 2001, the 21st century. Until they keep this law, until this 21st century, that the law starts existing, that the law starts working. That is why they call it protocol. Protocol of the UN charters and articles. That is how they address this law in this 2021. Remember that this sins and doctrine of this law, of this historical law, was being adopted or be keeping down from when? 1933. You see the word. And they hide all this from us. They hide it from many people that fought for their independence. They hide it from many people, moreover from the African people. A country like a Czech Republic that understand this, that research and find it out, none of the leader was arrested. Despite also being exiled. None of their leader was arrested. None of the citizen was arrested because they adopted this law immediately without wasting time. And adopted it helps them as they declare their country, it leads them to what? To recognition very quickly. Because of they stand on this existing law, and for we don't know it because a black man put it on the written note black man will disappear. He won't have time to go and research because we want it fast, 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 fast. And why did the law is not moving fast? The law is not moving fast. The law is moving slow and steady, win the rest. That is how the law is moving. What happened? They said that establishing the policy of non-recognition in international territory change that was executed by force. If any country, if USB continue knocking Nigeria woto woto, if USB military continue threatening Nigeria, if USB military continue showcasing armed struggle, the world said no to us, that they will apply this law of 1932 that was adopted, become protocol, existing protocol in 21st century. They will use it to judge us, and on that they will deny us recognition. They will deny us being a country on their level, on their own way. So is it what you want? I don't want that. I want to remain calm and use political, diplomatic, legal, and media pressure to achieve this goal. That is the one I want. What do you want? Choose.
Challenges for the USB and similar movements. Under these rules, if the USB were to attempt to redraw the map of West Africa through military conquest, it would likely face several hurdles.
If we try to use force for us to recognize, we are going to face many problems. We are going to face what? Many problems in the eyes of the international community.
1. The duty of non-recognition. Other states are not just allowed to ignore the new borders, they are legally obliged to deny them recognition. This means no diplomatic ties, no seats at the UN, and severe limitations on international banking and trade. 2.
I hope you are listening. On this number 1, the duty of non-recognition. Non-recognition. Other states are not just allowed to ignore the new borders, the new Biafran, that the world are not just going to ignore it, but listen. They are legally obligated to deny them recognition. That the world are going to deny us what? Recognition. If we continue knocking woto woto. If we continue using force of military. If we continue doing that the world are going to do what? Deny us recognition. Are you hearing? Angel Makeup. Owam. Gentle Butozo. I am calling of all of you because what you are doing is what those that you are calling Donald Trump, J, Netanyahu, this is what they want you to do. Then if when Nigeria comes to buy you, you defend yourself, that one is self-determination. But you coming out openly is what they said no. Now they do not want it. That if we continue, that they will put us on a stage of what? A duty of non-recognition. That they will not just ignore us, but they are going to deny us recognition. And this recognition is what gives you gentle, everlasting freedom. That is what gives you one everlasting freedom. That is what gives you Angel Makeup everlasting freedom. That is what gives Butozo everlasting freedom. And all the leaders of all the guys are following you. Without this, inside that bush, you remain a rebel in the eyes of the international community. Donald Trump, you are calling, see you as a rebel. Netanyahu sees you as a rebel. Because that is where the UN article tag you. And all this you are threatening. It does no longer work anymore. It does no longer work anymore. What works this time around is paper, diplomatic ties. So have you asked yourself, under this international law, can they give you can they give Biafra recognition because of your action? They said no to that. We are going to that in a GV.
The principle of uti possidetis juris, international law, generally favors existing colonial borders to prevent chaos. To gain recognition, separatist movements usually need to prove either remedial secession, self-defense against extreme human rights abuses, or a consensual agreement with the parent state, like South Sudan or Eritrea.
Are you hearing it? Eritrea at a stage stopped knocking Ethiopia in earlier. They tried only 1 year, they stopped. They only continuously argue or through this word, remedial secession, self-determination against extremely human rights abuse. That is what they use. Today they are a country of their own. What is wrong with us that we don't ask questions, that we continue doing what we think that we are doing? We can't do like Nigeria. We must be up and doing. We must know it by ourselves at this we are into. It's not only us. Let's continue on the issue of the USB.
3. The role of Dr. Ngozi Orubuiz and BRGIE. Because the USB was declared from exile, the path to legitimacy usually shifts from military action to diplomatic lobbying.
Because of the government is in exile, that the movement have shifted from using military to recognize them, that know that it has moved forward to diplomatic ties is what they need from us, which is what the government is doing. Diplomatic ties, diplomatic agreement, diplomatic argument, going through legal offense, going through political pressure, going through media pressure. This is what USB is doing, and this is how we can achieve it, not by gun and bullets.
They must convince the world that their claim is based on self-determination, a legal right, rather than conquest.
A legal right rather than conquest. Now, do you see why Finland asked us to go and look for Biafra through legal? Because of the law of this 21st century. That is why Finland will open them and tell us to go and achieve Biafra through legal. That's the only way we can achieve it this time around is through what? Through legal movement of it. And those legal from where? In diaspora is where it's coming from. Biafra is coming from diaspora. Recognition is coming from diaspora. From abroad. From exile. Not from Nigeria. Not from Africa even. Africa gives but until... Look at when African country gives American recognition, Morocco. What happened? It does not finally move away the Great Britain. But once France come and join them, the movements proceed and move fastly. The right is on the legal. They said, any group who use conquest, that is military force, to claim that their sovereignty and their state, that the world are going to do what? Do about turn. Is what you want for the world to do about unto us. Gentle, be one, and be wise. This is a bitter truth that you might not like whenever this program comes to you. And those who will send it to you, because I know. It is important to know this truth. It is important to know there is an existing protocol. Any military must stand on the protocol. Any military must be disciplined.
Comparison of statehood paths.
Comparison of a statehood path. Comparison of a new country. Listen.
Path to statehood. Legal basis. International reception. Military conquest. Force/power. Non-recognition. Per Montevideo Art 11.
Are you hearing it? Military force. No single recognition. Military force. No single what? Recognition. We come to you. And they give you what? Non-recognition, bearing on Montevideo Convention, Article 11. There is a law.
Ideal secession. Self-defense/human rights. Mixed. Case by case. E.g., Kosovo. Consensual divorce. Bilateral agreement. full recognition, e.g., Czechia, Slovakia.
Are you hearing it? Bilateral agreement, diplomatic. They are working at the only people who jira when Czechoslovakia. How want area? Then mixed up case by e.g. Kosovo, knocking woto. Till today, no. That is how it goes. Please, I urge you to like and share the video. The like is not given, but I think our people are still at work. That is why it's like that. So I hope you are understanding why we're doing this program. No more force. We move again. Second session. I hope on this first session, it is very clearly to you in your mind and to your understanding that the government of the USB muting on issue of knocking woto is best option. And that is a legal right of it. No kwibo. Na ndi banyis na mkpebu na kantibu. Mu beburugi kamakana mutiburugi. You understand it? That is on the aspect of where the government of USB is right now. They believe in the law that through this law we can achieve Biafra without throwing one bullet in the homeland or less than the government to penetrate and enter our territory. Then on self-defense, we will react. Well, we are going to do 3 sessions today. On this first section that we are concluding right now, if anyone wants to call, you are free to call on number +9 7 3 6 0 5 1 3 7. I repeat, +9 7 3 6 0 5 1 3 7. As we are moving, if you have your time on break to call. We are going to take your call for you to also contribute in what we are doing. Thank you. As we move. Now, on this session 1, I hope it has made it clearly through 2 laws of the 1 UN, of the 1 Montevideo Convention, that they prohibit us to use armed struggle, to use force on Nigeria anymore. That they want us to use diplomatic, legal, political pressure, and the media pressure. And also what? A population, divine territory, filthy government, effective government, capacity to sign agreements and treaties. These are what the world wants us to use at this 21st century. Listen to this.
Exactly. That article is often described as the cornerstone of the modern international order. Before the UN Charter, the right to conquest was a standard, albeit brutal, part of international relations. Article 2.4 effectively attempted to outlaw war as a tool of national policy. However, in the context of movements like the USB, there is a complex legal tug-of-war between 2 competing principles within the Charter. 1. Territorial integrity, Article 2.4. This protects existing states, like Nigeria, from having their borders changed by force. It is the shield used by established governments to maintain their current maps. 2. Self-determination, Article 1, Paragraph 2. This article states that the UN's purpose is to develop friendly relations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples. This is the primary legal lever used by Dr. Ngozi Orubueze and the BRGIE. The gray zone of recognition. The international community generally follows a hierarchy when these 2 principles clash. Internal self-determination. The UN prefers that groups achieve autonomy within the existing state, e.g., through federalism or special status. External self-determination, secession. This is only viewed as legally valid by the broader community in extreme cases of decolonization or remedial situations where a group is being systematically excluded or persecuted. The cost of violating Article 2.4. If a new entity uses force to establish itself, it triggers the obligation of non-recognition. This means no treaties, no other country can legally sign a trade or defense treaty with the USB. Passport validity. USB travel documents would not be recognized for international travel. Asset freezes. The parent state can often legally claim any assets or resources the new entity tries to sell on the global market. This is why most modern independence movements spend more time in the halls of the UN and The Hague than on the battlefield. They know that without legal title, a state is essentially a ghost in the eyes of the world economy. Would you like to explore how other unrecognized states have attempted to bypass these restrictions through informal trade or de facto diplomacy.
So, as you are hearing it, this is what they want us to do. This is how they want us to go. And on this way, there is a very safer way for us. This is the way we can be safe. And this is also the way everything is going to be what? Very good for us. The movement that we are into, after our declaration of the USB, we no longer need all those things that we are saying. They are there, but they are not the thing that guides recognition. That is why I can ask anybody, if you tell that USB are not doing it well, are you the one that are giving recognition? Are you the one that introduced all these laws and treaties that are controlling us? That they ask us to stand on this? After the declaration, we have all the attention. We have created all this attention to the world. The world has already known that Biafra people is fighting for their country. So after the attention has been made, arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, arrest of Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister, proving to the world that we are looking for a new country. And what they want us to do, they want us to go down like people of Namibia, people of Eritrea, those that dropped armed struggle, those that drop violence and go into a peaceful way. That peaceful way leads to what? Recognition. And everything about this movement that we are talking about is inside the UN Charter. It is inside the Montevideo Convention. It is inside the Geneva Convention. It is inside the Vienna Convention. There is 4 laws in one. There is four bodies in one that guides us. When we have something that is guiding us, then how do you think that we should leave what is guiding us to go on the other side that is not guiding? Remember, I repeat it, remember that Simon Ekpa said that after our declaration, that if you're expecting him to knock wood, that you are wasting your time. This issue of decolonization is step by step. It's not by through conquest. And the world has made it openly that if any group or USB try to use conquest, that they are going to abandon us. I will give you example of country that the UN was abandoned. And what happened to them? They leveled their military. They arrested all their citizens and hanged them. Sorry, they arrested all their leaders and hanged all of them. Is it what you want us to do? How do you think that this way can give us Biafra? This way is not giving Biafra. This way is not bringing recognition. The Somalia was delayed for 30 years because of what happened in the past. Why can't we learn a lesson? They said that the future or the present lies in the past. Then in this our movement, it's no longer lies in the past. Who are you? Who the hell are you? In our own movement, the future is no longer lying in the past. No, this one lying on your black man brain that set us backward, that Europe are moving forward. But we are telling the world that we have adopted all you want us to do. US government, by the one has abandoned violence and the armed struggle, use diplomatic, legal, political pressure, and media pressure. That is what we are giving to you. And we have laid our hand in all those you are hiding documents from. We are going to be going from chapter to chapter to let you know if it is true that all of you are not colluded. It is true that all of you are not colluded to hate Biafran people. No military to showcase rifle. No military to come on social media from showing camp where he is. The elite squad of the USB, nobody knows who they are. They don't come on social media to showcase rifle. I am going to prove to a country in this war that we are into that the country they are fighting to exit write petition proving that they are terrorists. The world up to 30 countries bears a witness for that. Up to 30 countries bear a witness. Up to 30 countries bears witness to that. When the 30 countries bear witness, they help those that existing country to level those military and arrested all their leaders, hang all of them. Is it what you want us to do by showcasing on air where we have a camp? This is where we are. The military should be on the ground. That's what they are saying. And when Nigeria enter our territory, then we can defend ourselves under self-examination of the human rights. Our leader, our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa said it after declaration that no more one bullet to shoot anymore. Now that is why he told us that until we generate the declaration, that we are all making noise in social media. Please do not deviate it. Allow him. I have done the needful. Don't worry. He won't comment again. Just be careful. Forget about them. I don't want us to be started today. I don't want. We sometimes I ask if Gentle and Butozo should ask themselves what the military of India was doing when their leader Maghandi was arrested. Let them ask this question by themselves. Gentle, ask yourself, what was the military of Ethiopia doing when the leader was arrested? Gentle, ask yourself, what the military of Algeria was doing when their government was in exile? And you ask yourself, what are you doing today? What you are doing, is it how other countries have achieved their own country? And is it what their military has done in the past? Ndị be anyị si n'okwu Igbo na ụzụ amara akpụ ole egbe anya n'ọdụ. I keep on repeating these 4 illustrations for our people. Ọ bụrụ na ụzụ amara akpụ ole egbe anya n'ọdụ, mara ka esi akpọ ogele. Ọ bụrụ na nwata amara ụzọ esi eje echute mmiri, o soro mpekere eju ka o ruo na mmiri. Why all of you si wee bụ n'okwu Igbo na ihe Gentle Butozo and this one commenting here na ihe unu bụ ọchọ ka ọkwa na-egbu ehi mma na mpi, o gbuzie ehi mma na mpi, ehi agbanaga. Onye achọrọ ka eri anụ ehi, ọ bụrụ na ejigbo ihe ọ na-eme bụ oro were mma gbuo ehi na mpi na the horn, ugbu akwa n'elu alụbọ ehi alụbọ is passed everywhere palaga. This is what all of them are doing, and this is the category where they belong. Well, my people, what we are doing is to prove that the world has prohibited unorganized country to be showcasing military outside. The world has prohibited that. The world said, we don't want it anymore. We don't need what anymore. We need legal, diplomatic, political pressure, media pressure. This is 4 things that the world are looking from our hand. And in these 4 things, that is where you will find all the existing protocol. Let us be very careful. Let us change our steps, change our ways, and listen to the existing protocol of the world. Listen to what the world wants us to do, not what we want to do. Not what I want, not how I think, not how I see it. Let us follow the road that was being built already. You are going to a journey, and there is a tide road. You leave that road. You want to enter Gallop Road. You want to enter the untied one. Who does that? Who is this person who sees a road that was well built and you leave it? You enter untied road. That is where Fallback and all these gang and Butos, that is what they are doing. They leave tied road and enter untied road. Let's continue listening again.
Exactly. That article is often described as the cornerstone of the modern international order.
This Article 2, Paragraph 4, is the cornerstone of the modern international order. This is what the cornerstone of the modern international order. This is what UN is expecting from us. This is what UN is looking for us to give to them so they can answer us. Now that we have those things that UN is looking in our hand so they can be able to answer us, is it a taboo when we listen to that and when we are on that movement that is tide road? Look at the tide road. And you want us to be going on a tide road that we wound our tires, that we have flat tires, that our journey will not go to the end of this nation. Shame on all of you. We, the USB, we have entered the tide road, the smooth journey, the journey of slow and steady and win the race. We are on the journey of slow and steady win the race. That is the journey we have chosen to go to. We don't need speed and you have an accident and break down the road. No. We want slow and steady win the race. That is what USB is doing. Believe it or you doubt it, you are on your own. You are not the one that introducing the law of having a new country. You are not the one that keep down the criteria of a government in exile is going to use to achieve recognition. So, to your end, to your tent, O Israel, that is where we're holding all of you. What we are doing today is being written down, but you will not know. Even many of you in the comment section who will change your name at last, because I knew that many of you are going to change your names at last. Continue doing yourself more harm than good. Continue. In this modern international order They call it what? That article is often described as the cornerstone of the modern international order. This is order from the world for a new country that are seeking for recognition. These are the order. And we must accept this order. And the USB has accepted this order. That is why all of you are looking for Dr. Nobel to Nakwoto, so you can see something to use to label him, to tag him, whatever. But you are not seeing. That is why all of you are crying bitterly. That is why all of you are crying what? Bitterly. Our message is different from every other message in social media. If you want to hear about it at home, about Onitsha, Mazi Klenna is there doing it. If you want to hear about Fallback Bridge, Mazi Kai is doing that. You will hear it from there. I will not come here to repeat what others has been doing. No. I am doing the one Chukwu Okabiama give me to do. Yes, all for Majesty, I see you. Thank you. You're welcome. Nicholas Mark, thank you so much. Mommy Stella, thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, I also do this not because of Gentle and Butus, but for the entire world to know that USB are not in charge of those things that they are doing. That USB did not send them. That we, USB, stand on the side of this order of the UN. Let's continue.
Before the UN Charter, the right to conquest was a standard, albeit brutal, part of international relations.
Before the UN emerged, the conquest was what? Standard. They used conquest in the past as a standard way of achieving sovereignty recognition. Sovereignty. But now that the part of the international relations before it was, but now that they have changed the law, now that the law has moved away from what we used to know or what they used to do in the era of the colonial borders, in the colonial masters, in the era of the slavery mentality, slave masters. When those things started, it's working. But after that, it's no longer working. Now that it's no longer working, what are you doing? Can't you know that one thing that is constant in life is what? Changing. The one thing that is constant in life is what? Changing. As the world are changing, why are you not changing, brother? As the new music is coming out, why are you not learning how to dance the new music? It's also my prayer. Because opportunity comes but once. Why that everything in the world is changing? Why phone is changing? Why houses are changing? Why clothes are changing? Why is your brain is not changing? The world is changing. Why is that your brain is not changing? What is the former Nokia Touch? Are you still using it? For anybody who is against government, it's like that old Nokia Touch. Go back using Nokia Touch now. Go back, continue using Nokia Touch. Sorry for you. Sorry that. Sorry. Because we understand what we have to do for us to move forward. And you refuse to understand it. It's you doing yourself, not anybody. You are doing yourself more harm than good. If you like, continue. If you don't like, listen to the message of repentance and repent.
Article 2.4 effectively attempted to outlaw war as a tool of national policy. However, in the context of movements like the USB, there is a complex legal tug-of-war between two competing principles within the Charter. 1. Territorial integrity. Article 2.4. This protects existing states, like Nigeria, from having their borders changed by force. It is the shield used by established governments to maintain their current maps.
Are you hearing it? The UN, the Netanyahu, Gentry is calling. The Donald Trump, J, you are calling. They believe in this law. That before, that you don't need to use force to divide the border. That is what they told us here, Pop and Plain. That this law, that this between these two principles, completing principle, they are jamming head. The same law give us right to exit. The same law give Nigeria right to do not allow us to break the border. Now, for us to be on the safer side, now we have to go on the one that UN asks us to go with. Because going with the one they want us to go triggers at a time that if Nigeria continue, there was a time that UN sanctioned South Africa. When UN asked South Africa, allow Namibia, move away from their threat, they refused. What happened? Do you know why South Africa succumbed? They succumbed after many years of Namibia fighting for them. What happened? They did what? When UN removed or sanctioned South Africa, removed their respect of the territorial integrity, removed them as member of the UN, what happened? South Africa succumbed without wasting time. South Africa accepted without wasting time. South Africa have immediately packed their loads and belongings and equipment and walk away from Namibia. This is how it happens in Namibia, in Africa here. This is how it goes. And this is how we, Biafran people, we have choose this path of non-violence anymore. Because violence has, let me ask you, this violent side has never caused damage to us. This violent side has it never caused pain and sorrow and agony in our life. What of the drama he putting us into? What of the trauma? What of many imagination we have in this movement? What is other things now that we have a law that will guide us? Is it not better we follow this law instead of going this way that are bringing harm, damage, destroy to us? We must be wise. A word is enough for a wise man. If you know, you know. Now, this protest existing states like Nigeria from having their border changed by force. Yes. It's not about shooting gun. It's about discipline. Like and share, my people. All for justice. Let them continue what they are doing with success and the Ogenkere. We got absolutely nothing to do with them. Our own army, elite squad, are well trained, led by Rabbi. Yes. Why are they fighting their own Biafra? If Mazen Kanu or Mazen Kanu, who are fighting for the freedom of their people, really know that the Biafra has been redeclared, will they kick against it? You should be asking them. They come and answer that question very well, Nicholas. We got absolutely nothing to do with Gento or Butozo. They are working for Ogenkere. Why our elite sport is our own army working for army working for USB. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, we move. Now, that the UN also, this Article 2 in bracket 4 also established a government to maintain their current map. That if we try to use force to put our map in West Africa, that they're not going to allow it. And they're not going to recognize us. While showcasing military and all these things in social media. It is not working at all.
2. Self-determination. Article 1, Paragraph 2. This article states that the UN's purpose is to develop friendly relations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples. This is the primary legal lever used by Dr. Ngozi Orubueze and the BRGIE.
Are you hearing it? What they are using to argue to UN, what they're using to argue in court, what they're using in the diplomatic movement. Number 2, self-determination, Article 1, Paragraph 2. This article states that the UN purpose is to develop friendly relations between on respect for the principle of the equal rights and self-determination of people. Now you see how this the same law come down to us. Under self-determination, that is why we have right to do all we are doing. To go into diplomatic, into legal, and what? Political pressure. What of media pressure? All are inclusive. And also to prove to the world that there is a permanent population defined through the 40 states. Also, effective government of the USB and the capacity to sign treaties. These are the one. And our government is lobbying words about self-determination, human rights abuse, injustice, and this genocide is going on in Nigeria today. That is all the things they are using to let the world know who we are and what we are passing through. Let's continue.
The gray zone of recognition. The international community generally follows a hierarchy when these two principles clash.
The international law community generally follows a hierarchy when those two principles clash. Now, if we are clash with Nigeria, without recognition of member of the UN, we clash with them. The hierarchy remains Nigeria. Just how they put their law is in the open. And now I remembered or understand why Batobie said that the road to achieve Biafra recognition is in the open. With this, is not in the open. With this guideline, with this existing protocol, with all this, is it not true? What you are seeing and what you are hearing, is it not the best way for us to achieve it? So the world we know that with how peaceful we are as the people of Biafra. The world we know how peaceful, and that peaceful is what is going to give us recognition we are looking for. Please, I urge you to like if you never do that. Once you like this program and share it, you are bringing more people to listen to our message. That is how you on your own is sending the message out. It's not only me, it's between you and I. Once you like and share, you are inviting more people to come and listen. From your page, they will hear about the message. The message we are preaching is message of international laws and how it can help us to achieve our Biafra. And you can see it's working.
Internal self-determination. The UN prefers that groups achieve autonomy within the existing state, e.g., through federalism or special status. External self-determination, secession. This is only viewed as legally valid by the broader community in extreme cases of decolonization or remedial situations where a group is being systematically excluded or persecuted. The cost of
I hope you're hearing it. They give you when people is being persecuted. That is what we have done. And after we have done it, what remains recognition, but it's going to be under this protocol they give us to do it.
violating Article 2, 4. If a new entity uses force to establish itself, it triggers the obligation of non-recognition. This means no treaties, no other country can legally sign a trade or defense treaty with the USB. Passport validity.
Listen. Yes, Nicholas, you are welcome. Thank you. I like the comment. Some people think that what you are doing here is just for favor USB, but this is what they read. This is the read they there for every country seeking recognition of their own nation to make research. Yes, thank you so much. I am not here only for USB. I am here for even for people of Oduduwa that are deceiving themselves that they're looking for a new country when they are not serious. So, no. It's not yet now. It's just how many years, how many months, how many years? Is the recognition will hit us by force, as in the recognition is going to be a miracle very soon. Our allies are going to, you're going to know how many allies we have and those are supporting us behind. Don't worry, the time will come. Let us not be in a hurry. It takes America a year and 6 months before Morocco, African country, Morocco, they are the first country that recognizes America as a sovereign state. They are the one. That is part of the thing that we need to endure. It takes Somaliland 34 years. It takes Namibia over 40 years. These are countries in the world. It takes India also some years. So let us be patient. Now that we're on the right track, the world are watching, they're observing what we are doing. We must focus on the truth. Like I said, our line is open in case if you want to call us. In case if you decide to call on this program, you can through the number +9 7 33 60 51 337. In case if you think you want to call us on this program, that is why I give you that number so you can call and join us. And also, let the world hear your voice and contribute to what we are doing. Always very important. Just continue. The cause of violence, Article 2 and 4. Let us listen. That is why that all these are very important and this is what we are into. Without all these things, we go nowhere. But with all this, we as the people of Biafra are making headway in the world. We cannot achieve Biafra without listening to all the international laws, treaties that controls the world. Other things are very important because that is how we are going to achieve our country. Do not mind anybody who will come on social media to tell you otherwise. He has nothing to offer. And that particular person never meant well for the people of USB. For us to achieve our recognition is in our hand. That is why we must continue in what we are doing. That is why everything that we are doing is in our hand to do that. That is, yes, but we are waiting for the official. All those one has accepted our ID card. Sorry, yes, our ID card. They accepted for us to have liaison in the offices. It is quite different of facial recognition. I must tell you the truth. All those ones, they are there. And it has happened. So at this stage that we are into, that is when a Biafran has to queue in to know the truth. Once they recognize your ID card, next thing is to do what? To recognize you. That is how it works. And this is how the world are doing it on behalf of every other country in the world that are seeking for this international recognition. That's why I told you we are not the first, we are not the last, and we are not going to be the only people in the world that have fought for a new country. So everything that we are doing, Chukwu Okadiama is here with us, and he is doing everything for us. Sometimes we don't know exact year. We don't know because why do I say so? It takes America a year and 6 months. You know, now mighty America, when they declare it newly, a year and 6 months before they got their own. People like Namibia, there was in exile for over many decades. But once when they declare, because of they have a brother from their side who is a member of the UN, because they all are all arrangements have been put in the place. That is why their recognition comes very quickly. In Africa, Namibia was the easiest, cheapest to recognize. The recognition come automatically after 1 month of their declaration, because they have a brother who is a member, who is working in the office of the UN. Then you see how it happened. And that person lives in America. So that triggers the recognition very quickly. You understand it? No people. So my people, it is very imperative. It is. That is what we call diplomatic movement. It's gradually step, and we are there.
USB travel documents would not be recognized for international travel.
Now listen, I want to bring it back. If a new entity uses force to establish itself, it triggers the obligation of non-recognition. Means if we try to use force on Nigeria at this stage, at this 21st century, what happens? They will put us on what? On the obligation of non-recognition. And what does it mean? It means no treaties. We cannot sign any treaty with any country in the world, because the world, this law is what guides all the countries in the world. This particular law is what is guiding every country in the world. That no treaty will be signed. Imagine. No other country can legally sign a treaty or defense territory with the USB. No country will sign agreement with us. No country want to do business with us if we use force in this 21st century. Is it what you want us to go through? You that are claiming water, you that are claiming on ground. You who are on the ground are messing up. I want you to know the danger of what you are doing. Look at the danger. The danger is that no country will recognize us. No country want to come close because of what? This action. What of our passports? Go nowhere. USB travel document would not be recognized from international travel. USB document cannot be recognized from anywhere at all if we try to use vote. If we continue on that aspect. But without that, all these things that they said is no, should be yes, for us. Is it not good for us to choose the path of yes? Asset freeze. The present state can often legally claim any assets or recruitment the entity trying to seen on the global market. If there is anything that we are having in the global market, that's because of this because of this law that we are not respecting, that Nigeria has law to claim it. I want you to understand the importance of this. The danger of what it is overmuch for those who are doing that. The danger. Look at the danger. He gives Nigeria every power against us. That is why the government of USB understand what they are doing, and they are doing it perfectly. Shidwe Manel, thank you so much. I can see you. Let's continue.
Asset freezes. The parent state can often legally claim any assets or resources the new entity tries to sell on the global market. This is why most modern independence movements spend more time in the halls of the UN and The Hague than on the battlefield. They know that without legal title, a state is essentially a ghost in the eyes of the world economy.
Without a legal movement, a new country, the world will do us, they will ghost us. With this armed struggle, with all this nonsense, if that is how USB is doing, there is no road, there is no hope. But there is a hope because the government stop it at a time. So for the world not to ghost us, when they run for ammo, run for showcasing that a level of military that have equipment. No, the time has gone. Oh, in this 21st century, it's no longer as usual. In this 21st century, the world will abandon us. Do you want the world to abandon us after all this sufferness? After all these losses of our people? After all the things that have been destroyed in our territory? Do you want the world to abandon us? Do you want the world to do ghost town to us? Do you want the world to do us ghost town? God forbid. We must maintain peace for us to achieve world recognition. That is the message from the world. That is the message. The message is all about peace, peace movement, non-violence movement for us to achieve it. After our declaration.
Do you like to explore how other unrecognized states have attempted to bypass these restrictions through informal trade or de facto diplomacy?
Do you want to know how others has passed it? Do you want how other unrecognized countries like us has passed through these laws and they got recognition? Do you want us to? I want to see your comment because today is my off day, so I have my time. If you have the time for us to go, we just click it now, research it. You will see how I do it. Then you had the question that being asked us here. Then we will answer this question. Before that, I want to start from session 1 of this our program, play it without saying a word, to session 3. So in case any Biafra who want to record this audio and send it out, you can prepare your that. Before we go, if Biafra wants us to continue, then we will continue.
That is a precise and accurate summary of the Stimson Doctrine and its evolution into modern international law. You've hit on the central tension between de facto control, power on the ground, and de jure recognition, legal legitimacy. For a nascent state like the United States of Biafra, USB, which was declared by the BRGIE in late 2024, navigating these legal frameworks is the difference between being a sovereign member of the global community or remaining an unrecognized entity. The legal framework of non-recognition, the principle that might does not make right, is codified across several pillars of international law. The UN Charter, Article 2, Paragraph 4. This is the gold standard. It prohibits the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. The Montevideo Convention, Article 11. As you noted, this explicitly states that territory shall not be recognized which has been occupied through the exercise of force. The Stimson Doctrine. This was the historical precursor, 1932, that established the policy of not recognizing international territorial changes that were executed by force. Challenges for the USB and similar movements. Under these rules, if the USB were to attempt to redraw the map of West Africa through military conquest, it would likely face several hurdles. 1. The duty of non-recognition. Other states are not just allowed to ignore the new borders, they are legally obliged to deny them recognition. This means no diplomatic ties, no seats at the UN, and severe limitations on international banking and trade. 2. The principle of uti possidetis juris, international law, generally favors existing colonial borders to prevent chaos. To gain recognition, separatist movements usually need to prove either remedial secession, self-defense against extreme human rights abuses, or a consensual agreement with the parent state, like South Sudan or Eritrea. 3. The role of Dr. Ngozi Orubuiz and BRGIE. Because the USB was declared from exile, the path to legitimacy usually shifts from military action to diplomatic lobbying. They must convince the world that their claim is based on self-determination, a legal right, rather than conquest. Comparison of statehood paths. Path to statehood. Legal basis. International reception. Military conquest. Force/power. Non-recognition. Per Montevideo Art 11. Remedial secession. Self-defense/human rights. Mixed. Case by case. E.g., Kosovo. Consensual divorce. Bilateral agreement. Full recognition. E.g., Czechia, Slovakia. While the USB has declared its sovereignty, the international community's adherence to the Montevideo Convention suggests that the how of their border establishment will matter just as much as the why. Would you like to look into the specific legal arguments the BRGIE has presented to the UN regarding their right to self-determination?
I hope you are listening. Second section, listen.
Exactly. That article is often described as the cornerstone of the modern international order. Before the UN Charter, the right to conquest was a standard, albeit brutal, part of international relations. Article 2.4 effectively attempted to outlaw war as a tool of national policy. However, in the context of movements like the USB, there is a complex legal tug-of-war between two competing principles within the Charter. 1. Territorial integrity, Article 2.4. This protects existing states, like Nigeria, from having their borders changed by force. It is the shield used by established governments to maintain their current maps. 2. Self-determination, Article 1, Paragraph 2. This article states that the UN's purpose is to develop friendly relations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples. This is the primary legal lever used by Dr. Ngozi Orubuiz and the BRGIE. The gray zone of recognition. The international community generally follows a hierarchy when these two principles clash. Internal self-determination. The UN prefers that groups achieve autonomy within the existing state, e.g., through federalism or special status. External self-determination. Secession. This is only viewed as legally valid by the broader community in extreme cases of decolonization or remedial situations where a group is being systematically excluded or persecuted. The cost of violating Article 2.4. If a new entity uses force to establish itself, it triggers the obligation of non-recognition. This means no treaties, no other country can legally sign a trade or defense treaty with the USB. Passport validity. USB travel documents would not be recognized for international travel. Asset freezes. The parent state can often legally claim any assets or resources the new entity tries to sell on the global market. This is why most modern independence movements spend more time in the halls of the UN and The Hague than on the battlefield. They know that without legal title, a state is essentially a ghost in the eyes of the world economy. Would you like to explore how other unrecognized states have attempted to bypass these restrictions through informal trade or de facto diplomacy?
What is these things why we are doing all these things for Gentle to know? Listen to this message.
Because we are black,
Yes.
we are coming. Soludo, you are dead already.
Do you hear it?
I just want to tell you that you are dead already. Gentle is telling you this. I don't have much to tell you. Galiru, why lady? Because we are coming. Soludo, Galiru, why lady? Because we are Biafrans, we are coming. Soludo.
You see all these threats. That is what the world don't want us to continue in this aspect anymore. The world don't want us to continue on this. They want us to go smoothly, through legally, through diplomatic. But when they find us to come, if they find us to come to our camps, then we are going to do what? We are going to retaliate because we are not going to allow them to kill us. That is when the government will argue that this happened on our self-defense because we did not move to any of their military, any of their barrack. The law will chase them away from our area, not by gun and bullets. If they come, you never even ask me the question, I already answered the question. On the self-determination, that is when they say that the two law was jamming head. That this two law is jamming head. That when they come on our territory to come and buy us, that the Biafran army will rise up and defend the territory. That is what they call self-determination. You will not allow someone who come to your house to kill you, but for us to go and protect ourselves on the road looking for them. That is no, no, no. That is what? No, no, no. And this is why I love USB so much. This is what? This is why I love USB so much. Because of maintaining this criteria of the UN. Now, remember that, like I said, our line is open in case if anybody want to call us on number +9 7 33 60 51 337. That is the number to call in case if you decide to call to make suggestion on this program. You are welcome. So going on the path of the USB had chosen is the next session. Blessing. I hope you have got to your answer to the question you asked me. Now we want to listen the part of the USB had chosen and what they are doing in the war stage right this time around. So listen to this.
Choosing a path of non-violence and legal diplomacy, as Dr. Ngozi Orubueze has indicated, is a strategically sound move under international law. In fact, for a new entity like the United States of Biafra, USB, refusing to use military force against Nigeria is often the only viable way to eventually secure formal recognition. While it doesn't guarantee immediate statehood, here is how a peaceful approach changes the legal game in favor of the USB. 1. It neutralizes the aggressor label. As we discussed, Article 2.4 of the UN Charter is the biggest hurdle for any new state. If the USB were to use force to seize territory, it would be labeled an illegal regime created by aggression. By refusing force, the USB avoids triggering the obligation of non-recognition that binds all UN member states. 2. It shifts the focus to self-determination. International law is much more sympathetic to groups that seek independence through peaceful means. By staying non-violent, Dr. Orubueze can argue that the USB is exercising its right to self-determination, Article 1 of the UN Charter. This allows the movement to lobby for referendums, seeking a UN-supervised vote like South Sudan in 2011, remedial secession, arguing that independence is a necessary remedy for human rights issues rather than a military conquest. 3. Fulfilling the Montevideo criteria. To be a state, you need more than a military. You need the 4 criteria from the Montevideo Convention. 1. Permanent population. 2. Defined territory. 3. Government. 4. Capacity to enter into relations with other states. A peaceful government in exile or a local administration can demonstrate the capacity to enter into relations more effectively than a rebel group. Opening embassies, as has been reported with the USB in Germany, is a classic example of trying to fulfill the 4th criterion without firing a shot. Comparison. Peaceful versus violent paths. Feature. Military conquest. Peaceful diplomacy. USB strategy. UN reception. Condemnation/sanctions. Potential observer status or dialogue. Legal status. Occupying power. Aspirant state, or people seeking self-determination. Trade. Black market only. Potential for informal economic accords. Outcome. Long-term isolation. Possibility of a negotiated consensual divorce. The Somaliland precedent. It is important to note that even peaceful states face a long road. Somaliland has been peaceful and democratic for over 30 years, but still lacks full UN recognition because the parent state, Somalia, hasn't consented. However, by refusing force, the USB keeps the door open for diplomatic, creeping recognition, where countries start treating them like a state. trading, accepting travel documents, even before a formal vote at the UN. Would you like me to look into the specific diplomatic steps the BRGIE is taking to establish these informal relations with other countries?
I hope you are listening. I hope you see the guideline. And on this guideline is what USB is using. Do you hear what here? Do you hear what we achieve, what will help us to achieve the recognition is what? They give an example. Even after 30 years that Somaliland was peaceful, it took them 30 years. But do you know why our case is somehow different from Somaliland? Because our own is re-declared. This is our second time, not the first time. If it is first time, we undergo this 30 years process, and I will ask you, are you going to still stand? Are you going to still stand for 30 years? Talking about USB, supporting USB. Are you listening? Tell me, on this guideline you are hearing here, on this that USB are maintaining, did you hear about that we must use military to conquer Nigeria for us to achieve recognition, for Donald Trump to come, for Netanyahu to come? Do you hear that? Save yourself straight and stop deceiving yourself. Listen again.
Choosing a path of non-violence and legal diplomacy, as Dr. Ngozi Orubueze has indicated, is a strategically sound move under international law. In fact, for a new entity like the United States of Biafra, USB, refusing to use military force against Nigeria is often the only viable way to eventually secure formal recognition. While it doesn't guarantee immediate statehood, here is how a peaceful approach changes the legal game in favor of the USB. 1. It neutralizes the aggressor label. As we discussed, Article 2.4 of the UN Charter is the biggest hurdle for any new state. If the USB were to use force to seize territory, it would be labeled an illegal regime created by aggression. By refusing force, the USB avoids triggering the obligation of non-recognition that binds all UN member states. 2. It shifts the focus to self-determination. International law is much more sympathetic to groups that seek independence through peaceful means. By staying non-violent, Dr. Orubueze can argue that the USB is exercising its right to self-determination, Article 1 of the UN Charter. This allows the movement to lobby for referendums, seeking a UN-supervised vote like South Sudan in 2011, remedial secession, arguing that independence is a necessary remedy for human rights issues rather than a military conquest. 3. Fulfilling the Montevideo criteria. To be a state, you need more than a military. You need the 4 criteria from the Montevideo Convention. 1. Permanent population. 2. Defined territory. 3. Government. 4. Capacity to enter into relations with other states. A peaceful government in exile or a local administration can demonstrate the capacity to enter into relations more effectively than a rebel group. Opening embassies, as has been reported with the USB in Germany, is a classic example of trying to fulfill the 4th criterion without firing a shot. Comparison. Peaceful versus violent paths. Feature. Military conquest. Peaceful diplomacy. USB strategy. UN reception. Condemnation/sanctions. Potential observer status or dialogue.
Okay.
Legal status.
Please,
occupying power. Aspirant state. Or people seeking self-determination. Trade. Black market only. Potential for informal economic accords. Outcome. Long-term isolation. Possibility of a negotiated consensual divorce. The Somali...
Sorry, we open our line for phone calls. So we have a caller. Good evening from here.
Good afternoon from my side.
You're welcome to the program.
Yes, I want to appreciate you with other Biafrans that are here with you. Only that I find it difficult to call when you are giving us some lectures and open our eyes to let us know of what we don't know, especially myself, what I don't know before. So we want to appreciate you once again, but I just want to put my support in what you say.
Go on.
Which many of us are still still wasting time on. And that is that the world or some countries accepted our ID card, accepted our passport, does not mean that they have recognized us. This is where so many of us missed it.
Yes.
And maybe I think you have to enlighten it if my own is not enough. And again, some people like me before think that it is about bosa bosa. Even last Sunday, I was with some group of USB in a meeting, and I was trying to let them know that these gentlemen, if they come up with all these their threats and all these their words or actions, that you to make up the world to look us as rebels.
Exactly.
And they don't want to understand. They don't want to understand me. That it is going to delay our recognition. That the government does not stand on that. That USB stand on the diplomatic and political process to recognize Biafra with our document of declaration. And they don't want to hear what I'm saying. Some even say that we need to go and beg Gentle and their rebel group, like what is seen threatening the occupied in neighboring states, threatening them. It is a mark of terrorism, not a mark of defense, as I understood it.
Exactly.
And they don't even know that Biafra USB have a how do I say, a squad, an elite squad, our own military, that are ready to defend Biafra. And that is why Biafran land now is peaceful. And many people confess the peacefulness of Biafra land in 2025 Christmas, and even in the East now. And they don't know the cause. So these people coming again now, any action, anything that happens, we put Biafra in the rim line of terrorism or in the rim line of threatening and other ones. The world will not like it. It will waste. It will take us back before we get our recognition. But the way or the place I want to put my mind is that Biafrans that have been informed or that have known that many allies have recognized or have accepted our document does not mean that those allies have recognized us. We need international, and we need our international recognition, not accepted. If they accept, they need to recognize open recognition like Israel. Israel recognized Somaliland by signing a document. And if you continue in this kind of word or in this kind of bosa bosa, we are not going to have right to sign any treaty anywhere. We are not going to be free, as you said, to travel with that document they have accepted without recognition. That's the only way I want to push mouth to support. And if it is possible, you enlighten on that more so that your voice will go more than my own to the whole. So we are happy. I'm happy. I'm learning what I did not know before. I don't need to ask any question now when you are still telling me what I need to do or what I need to know. And when I'm seeing what the way the USB government is following through our foreign affairs, through our DPM, and through other actions that the government have set, putting the necessary document on the right. And that is why we are where we are today. And that is what all of us need to do in any capacity, both talking, both sharing, both writing. Let us put the whole experience or the whole thing that we have to make sure that the news or our recognition is our goal. The only goal we have is recognition, not threatening and not fighting. We are no more fighting. We have finished fighting. We have recognized, we have declared Biafra. So the fighting is over. We are now fighting through diplomacy, through
Exactly.
political, and through, that's how we are fighting.
You are 100% right. And that is what the documents of UN, that is what UN Charter is telling us, that we have to only go through 4 ways. And as we are going through 4 ways, that the other 4, because it is 8 criteria. What are those eight criteria? The number first 4 of these 8 criteria is a permanent population of the Biafran people is number 1. Number 2, defined territory, which is the 40 states of the United States of Biafra. Then, number 3, effective government by USB, proving that they are very effective. Number 4, sign treaties and agreements, because of the effective government is the one that will sign treaties and agreement. These are first 4. Then, the second 4 is diplomatic ties, legal approach, political pressure, and the media pressure. These are 8 criteria the Biafran USD are maintaining that is going to yield us to recognition. Also, before we end this program, I am going to play you a country that, because of the action of their military, that country, like, let me use Nigeria as an example, that if not that Nigeria is already a dead country already, writes a letter to the UN, to many countries, and when they watch the videos of that country, I'm going to read in these documents or from the UN example of using military to showcase power and all these things, all these threatening, that it triggers that 30 countries bear a witness that this new country and his military, that they are rebel and they are terrorists. They give that country that reported them, that reported them to the UN weapon. What happened? They capture all the military, level them down. They capture all the leaders and they execute all of them. It has happened. So that is why in this modern 21st century, when people talk about 21st century, or hear me saying about 21st century, the 21st century started from 2001, is going to end in 2100. This is what they call 21st century. And in this new law of the UN, which they call it protocol adopted, that on this new law, precisely, the cornerstone is the chapter 2 in paragraph 4 of the United Nations Charter. Then also, Montevideo Convention, chapter 11, they condemn, they say that they prohibit any new country using aggression, using force to exit from the existing country that them as the UN has recognized their territorial integrity. That if we are doing that, that they are going to see us as a terrorist or a rebel country that are constituting violence and the noise in social media. That the only way out is to adopt the peace approach, adopt the diplomatic approach, that these are the criteria in this 21st century. And look at what they said, that they have made the law for you to have a new country very flexible. What are those flexible things? In the past, it's not flexible. In the past, it is only from military that you can use to achieve your country through military alone. If no military conquest, you are not a country, you're not a sovereignty. And they said that they have changed it because this through military conquest is taking more life of people and causing more pressure or more tight tension to the world, that this country that is coming is going to be a violent country. They're going to continue fighting people and destroy the world. On that note, that they have abolished using military. Now, on the flexible side, that is when they now introduce these 8 laws, that 4 is number 1, and that 4 is number 2. They first introduced the flexible is no longer military. The flexible is now the indigenous people, the population, the territory, the capacity, and the government to sign treaties. Now, they now also go on that flexible, that you have to go through diplomatic, legal, and the political pressure, media pressure. This is how they make it flexible. And they said that if any new country that are seeking for out of the existing present country, that through this, that they are going to achieve recognition, and none of their leader will be arrested, put to prison anymore. Is it not flexible, really?
Should I ask a question, or should I
go
put
on?
it as
Go ask your question.
as opinion?
Do as your opinion. Do as anyone you want.
Can you research, or should I ask? Does Nigeria, as you said, is dead, which we know? Does they have right? Have it happened? Can you research it, or am I asking it as a question?
No.
Have it happened? Have it happened that, or can they recognize Biafra? I mean, have it happened that a state you want to go out from can recognize you, and it will be accepted internationally? Can you research that?
Yes,
or can you answer me?
I have an example of it. Example of it is the history of between Namibia and South Africa. When Namibia is exiting from South Africa refused to recognize them until UN forced South Africa to recognize them. Even at that force from the UN, from that order from the UN, South Africa refused. What happened? Because of the inhuman treatment, because of the abuse of rights of people of Namibia, it triggers also that a citizen of the Namibia was a member or a housekeeping person in the office of the UN that triggers there. So what happened? The UN sanction removed South Africa as a member of the UN by doing what? Removing them, proving that they did not believe that South Africa can maintain their territorial integrity anymore. It has been sanctioned and be revoked from them. So when it was being revoked, that South Africa is no longer a member of the UN, and because of Namibia, what happened? They agreed to recognize them. And also the other way around, in a country like Czechoslovakia, when it happens, from where they are existing from, they refuse to recognize them. But when another country, like what happened to America, when France or British or many countries refuse to recognize America as a country, because of that recognition come from Morocco, it triggers France to recognize America and help them. So it's not going to be easy task because of what? Nigeria, an existing country, does not want it to be divided. But because of the incidents that happen in Nigeria has give everybody right, and also what makes it easy from us is our declaration that make it that our case is remedial secession, external, no longer internal. So if they don't like to recognize Biafra, when one country recognizes us, that one country become a head lobby to the UN that will recognize them. They deserve to be a country. By then, UN will give Nigeria order at last to do that. And if it is happening, it's on this time that we're into. I hope your question is very clear to you.
Yeah. I want to leave you. I have asked my question and you answered it. But if Nigeria, without being forced by a UN or by another, have they right to recognize us? And if they do, is it accepted?
Yes, Nigeria like I have watched a program of One Nigeria, who has told Nigeria that what you people are thinking about this Biafra is not what it is anymore. That he advised Nigeria to be the first country to recognize Biafra, so that we will allow Nigeria to have a business with them.
Okay.
That is better.
Okay.
So, and it's far better for Nigeria to be that first country. So we will allow them on the sign of a treaty of trending business with them together. But if they do not, we have right to abolish
them. This is end of discussion. Yeah. Bye. Let me enter into some listening section.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We must continue. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I can see you. Thank you for coming. So, my people, on this issue of the Biafra is no longer a case of what we think. Oh. And now that there is a law, remember that in this 21st century that started from 2001 and is going to end in 2100, on these 21st century issues, UN has their way on it. And remember, in this 21st century that we are on it, that UN has chosen to adopt all the existing protocol that are going to make it easy for us to do what? For us to achieve Biafra peacefully. Now think of coming to this 21st century, adopting this law. What of 22nd century? They might adopt the easiest one because the world are growing every blessed day. One thing that is constant in life is changing. The world are changing. Today, people are using iPhone 17. No longer iPhone 15 and iPhone 16, no longer. People are no longer using Nokia Touch. People are no longer using that old Mercedes. As everything is changing, that is how also the law is also doing what? Changing. And the law will, despite what happens, the law can also change when we are on the right track of what UN and all the charters and the treaties of the world. Look at this paragraph 2. Look at this paragraph 2. Look at this chapter 1 in paragraph 2 of the UN. It's making it openly that once after our declaration of the USB, that we are no longer into armed struggle. We are maintaining this peace, that we leave door open, that we have used our hand to leave our door open for what? For international recognition by all possible means. But if we went back to continue knocking woto, he said that they are going to turn their eyes back at us. So that is why if you watch the southeastern region, it's becoming more peaceful more and more. So for knocking woto by Gentle and all his threat and all these things, that is not how to achieve a new country. In this 21st century, the 21st century has made it easy for Gentle. That's why I said, it's like you are just taking a journey. You see a tight road and you want to enter on tight road. On that untied road, your car, your tire, your motor might have problems. But on this untied road, you are moving straight away and your journey continue moving on. This is why this UN law on this modern law of this 21st century, which is the cornerstone of it, number one cornerstone of it is in paragraph 4. This 4 have favor for Nigeria. This paragraph 4 has USB declared. Wow. Under self-defense, if you are in Biafra territory, in this 40 states that has been registered in the Department of US of Justice or into the UN, they have also passed this 40 states to the UN inside our document for UN to know that Biafra has been declared and we are asking for recognition. They have all done that. So on that note, if Nigeria enters our territory and somebody want to claim that Biafra is violence, the question is, where are we when Nigeria comes to attack us? We are in the 40 state of the Biafra, which we are claiming that is our territory. So on that is where we are. We did not pass on the road. We are in the camp. We are in the homeland. We are in our territory and they come. So the Biafra military has to rise up and defend the citizens because that is why they are there. To protect the borders, not the border. Now is to protect the citizens first because the border will be protected. Immediately recognition comes from any member of the UN or any country in Africa that recognizes us as a member of AU in Africa. This is how it happens because the charity must begin at home. Our home is Africa, AU. That is the home of Biafra. That is the home of all Africa. From there, we move to outside. Then on our own case, they call it what? Internal sovereignty recognition, the same UN. Then on that aspect of the UN, on the internal sovereignty recognition, it is the Biafran people to accept it that I am from the United States of Biafra. Then also, you accepting USB ID card proving I am fully a citizen of the USB because you use your ID card to identify who you are. Identification is not by mouth, it's by ID card. So we all must try to accept this ID card. And this ID card is another pure evidence that opened a very big vital door for international recognition by UN, because the office of the Commission of the Minister of Affairs, we use that ID card numbers to show to UN. Look at it here. We have 10 million, we have 10,000 Biafrans that are said that Biafra is their country. It don't finish, it don't be. That's how it is. So for those who are showing muscle in military, for those who are, no, we are no longer there. That's why they give us an example of some countries like Somaliland. After they have adopted peaceful movement, it takes them 30 good years for them to achieve their what? Their recognition from the Israel. 2005 of yesterday. I hope you are listening. These are the areas. So we as the Biafran people, let us listen, let us pay attention to things that matters most. One thing with us is that one thing about us is that we want to continue proving that we know it all while we know nothing. That's what we normally do. So, and why the world are making us understand that they do not need it anymore from us. So now, between what we think and how we reason, and between what the international global community wants, which one is the best one? Is it not their reason that we should adopt it? And also pressurizing them. We have adopted all this law. You can see how peaceful we are. You can see that we're not showcasing military. And this will trigger recognition. And you want us to fall back, knocking what, doing men on ground. Sorry, it's a name.
Precedent. It is important to note that even peaceful states face a long road. Somaliland has been peaceful and democratic for over 30 years, but still lacks full UN recognition because the parent state, Somalia, hasn't consented. However, by refusing force, the USB keeps the door open for diplomatic, creeping recognition, where countries start treating them like a state, trading, accepting travel documents, even before a formal vote at the UN. Would you like me to look into the specific diplomatic steps the BRGIE is taking to establish these informal relations with other countries?
Now, you know how we do it. We play it, we pause, we do a simple analysis that way our people will understand it clearly. As you join us, please, if you never hit the like button, please like and share the program. Today, our like is very poor, to be honest with you. We are running for 3 hours. We only have 49 likes. That is why the program today is very poor, because by this time, other days, you have crossing 90, 95. So, well, maybe our people are busy with other platforms. They will come back later to watch when we have finished the program.
Choosing a path of non-violence and legal diplomacy, as Dr. Ngozi Orubueze has indicated, is a strategically sound move under international law.
I want you to carry that word. Choosing a path of non-violence and legal diplomacy, as Dr. Ngozi Orubueze has indicated, it is a strategical sound movement under international law. It is what? A very big sound movement that the US government has chosen. So that is why when you hear the word on the international global community calling us on this aspect, want us to go on this way. When you are listening and you are hearing this kind of a thing, why is it hard for you to understand this is how this thing happens? And this is how the world wants us to go. So I am asking you, this way that the world wants us to go, is it very hard? Is it not very flexible? And on this junction, nobody will tag you terrorist. Nobody will call you rebel. But when you are knocking water, wait until I give you what has happened to countries that in the world that have knocked water, and what is the action of the world to them. Then you will know that this way that USB is going is the best way. So far, so good. And that is the way we all are safe.
Fact, For a new entity like the United States of Biafra, USB, refusing to use military force against Nigeria is often the only viable way to eventually secure formal recognition.
Are you hearing it? I hope you are hearing it. Yes, Nicholas. That is why Finland is saying that we should adopt our freedom legal means. You are right. You are right. For a new entity like the United States of Biafra, in bracket USB, refusing to use military force against Nigeria is often the only valuable way to eventually secure formal recognition. That this way that our government has chosen is the only way that we can choose this recognition, that we can achieve our recognition. Why do you think that we should live this way and be thinking and be using that way or feel being a black man? No, we cannot. The era has gone. The era of woto, the era of military end in 2001. From 2001, it ended in 2000. Then 2001, it's obviously that the only way is what? Diplomatic, legal, political pressure, media pressure, and the non-violence. That is the way. That is why you are prime minister. That is why our prime minister, Simon Ekpa said, after Biafra declared that if anybody expecting him to throw one bullet, the other person cannot see him doing that. Because of this law of this 21st century. Because of this law of this 21st century and our DPM, thank you for adopting it for the Biafran people. For us to not to be tagged terrorists, for us to not to be tagged any names that does not suit us anymore. That name that put us in prison, that name that when we are walking, we'll be afraid on the road. Thank you so much for doing that for us. Because that is what Batobi said, that the road to achieve Biafra is in the open. Look at the open here, but the truth remains that the world hide it from us. It is in this UN Charter. It is in the Montevideo Convention. You can find it in the Vienna Convention. You can find it in the Montevideo Convention. This 4 convention is for you, and the world hide it. And we are an IPOB organization, wasting our time since over all these years, doing nothing. Doing absolutely nothing. No wonder in the spirit, Mazda Nekano saw Simon Ekpa said, you have come to bring the new dimension. On that new dimension is where we have our declaration. On that new dimension is where we have our mandate. Is on that new dimension is where we have diplomatic, legal, political, and the media pressure. That is where we have population, divine territory, effective government, capacity to sign agreement. This is what the new dimension is all about. It's not by gun and bullet. The new dimension, it is the law of this 21st century. That's what we are using. I don't know about you. I don't know about you and what we are doing. But I must tell you that we as a Biafran people has understand the road that leads to this tide road. Before, we was walking on tide road. We was walking on Gallop Road. We was working on road that are not supposed to be walked. That is why everything was delayed. That's why everything is not going smoothly. But today, we have prepared ourselves. We are moving on this tide road that leads us to the last junction of our destination very quickly. You had it here. Yes, Ogonaya. God bless our DPM and the cabinet members. Thank you so much. You are in spirit. Remember our code on this platform. I am a citizen of United States of Biafra Nation or Republic. That is my code. On the comment section, my code should remains. What? I am from United States of what? Biafra. That is one thing that we all must adhere towards it. And through that, we can achieve USB as our fully sovereignty recognized country.
While it doesn't guarantee immediate statehood, here is how a peaceful approach changes the legal game in favor of the USB.
Remember that this recognition does not grant automatically. But listen to this. Listen carefully. Why recognition does not grant immediately for statehood? Here is how peaceful approach changes the legal game in favor of the United States of Biafra. If that is why I told you, if this legal way is what favors us, why can't we choose favor instead of sufferness? Instead of all this bad name that was being tagged on us. For me, I am happily choose this way that favors me as a Biafra who is going to be saved, that nobody will come to destroy or attack me anymore. Remember, in everything, the favor, the danger, and the benefits. If I may ask you, don't you think that the favor of this non-violence, this legal approach, is better than the danger of using what? Armed struggle? Don't you think that? Don't you think at that? Now, we are going to, after playing it, like I said, our line phone number still remain open in case anytime you want to call us, because we have spent maximum 3 hours. So if you want to call, you are free to call us on number +9 7 3 3 6 0 5 1 3 7. Only on WhatsApp, not direct call, only on WhatsApp. There is one thing that we all must know. You see, that's African mentality that the world Europe and Asia are moving forward while we are backward. It's happening to many of us. That is why Madugejiga controls on our war here. This legal aspect is working on the road, and this Woto is working inside bush. So continue working inside bush, and while you are disturbing the peace of the animals that owns the bush. And I ask you, from the day ESM was declared, was mentioned, and from the day you turn yourself, you turn into Biafra Liberation Army you are claiming, have you been inside bush how many years? And for how many years do you want to remain inside bush? How many years? And can army or military bring a new country recognition? No amount of military force that will bring recognition to a new country. No amount. Rather, they will tag that military rebel. They will charge him terrorist. They will tag him treason. There is nothing that cannot tag you in this 21st century. If it was in the old, if it was in the era of the Second World War, you are the champion. But for now, the power is no longer in your hand. The power is in the citizens' peaceful movement of a new country. That is how the power is. Listen as I come.
This is a sophisticated question that touches on the most difficult part of international law: who represents the people in a struggle for independence? If a liberation military refuses to follow the orders of its declared civilian government, like the USB under Dr. Ngozi Orubueze, it creates a fractured movement. From the perspective of the UN and international law, this has several critical consequences. 1. The internal discipline rule. Under the Hague Regulations and Geneva Conventions, for a military group to be legally recognized as lawful combatants rather than terrorists or bandits, they must meet 4 criteria. Be commanded by a person responsible for their subordinates. Wear a fixed distinctive sign, uniform/patch. Carry arms openly. Conduct operations in accordance with the laws of war. If a military force refuses to answer to a civilian government, they often lose the presumption of legitimacy. The UN generally looks for a unified command structure. If the military and civilian wings are fighting each other or ignoring each other, the international community usually treats the military wing as a non-state armed group, NSAG, rather than a government in waiting. 2. Can they get UN recognition? Short answer, almost never as a government. The UN usually recognizes national liberation movements, NLMs, like the PLO in the past, or the ANC. However, a key requirement for NLM status is that the group must be the sole legitimate representative of the people. If the military branch breaks away, the UN would likely view the situation as a civil war or an internal security matter for Nigeria, rather than a legitimate independence movement. The UN rarely recognizes a purely military force as a sovereign entity. Without a civilian government, a military force is seen as having no political mandate to sign treaties, manage a budget, or represent citizens in court. 3. The risk of warlord status. If a military group acts independently of the declared USB government, they cannot claim sovereign immunity. Their leaders can be more easily prosecuted by the International Criminal Court, ICC. They lose the remedial secession argument. It's hard for a group to argue they are building a new democracy if the military doesn't respect its own